Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, My Asexual Life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, and I educate people on asexual dating, relationships, love life, and occasionally we talk about sex. Even though a lot of us don't want it, don't need it, don't like it, and don't have to have it. Woohoo! So, happy Asexual Awareness Week. Today we're talking about why do I love twats? So, if you've ever been in a situation where you've really had deep feelings and emotions for someone, maybe you've met up with them for a date, you've been talking to them online for some time, maybe it's not even very long, but you feel like a connection some way with them, or you feel physically attracted to them. For asexuals, it may be aesthetically or even romantically, and you think, oh man, this is going to be so good, and then it just turns out that the person is a twat, a real twat. And what do I mean by this? I mean that basically they don't care about your feelings, they don't care about your emotions, they just want to use you. And yeah, they're not a particularly nice person, and so you have such high hopes, and they just dash them. And why does this happen? Like, it's something that happens with a lot of people when they're looking for to get into a relationship, when they're going to do dating, but it's very, very painful and it affects a lot of us. And so that's what I'm going to be discussing in today's video, is like, why do we do this? Why do we fall for the wrong people? First of all, if you didn't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives book out on Amazon. So if you want to know about love life and relationships and sex from an asexual point of view, grab your copy of this on Amazon now. So yes, there are various reasons why we could end up loving what I call twats. And I'm using this very, very, very literally, because I think it's important to say it. People get very hurt when they're doing dating and relationships. And if you've ever been in a situation where you really cared for someone, but they treat you like dirt, then you'll know exactly what I mean. Now, first of all, we need to understand, like, why would you fall for someone who's a bad person for you, who's not a nice person? Well, first of all, most people don't set out to think everyone's horrible, or everyone's trying to get them, or everyone's nasty, or everyone's a bad person. In fact, naturally, as human beings, we want to think the best of someone in general. We want to think that we can trust a person. We want to think that people are good and kind. And especially if you're a person yourself who's got a very kind heart of gold, who's very empathetic, very sympathetic, and just very honest and raw and real. You know, in today's society, there actually isn't that many people that's being raw and real and their true authentic self. And if you're a very honest, kind, caring person, you literally expect someone else to mirror that back to you. You expect to come across people who are honest like you, who are kind and caring like you. And you have sort of an expectation that people are going to be like that, and they're going to treat you how you'd like to be treated. Why wouldn't you? Because you deserve to be treated really well, right? You deserve to be treated with utmost respect and kindness and caringness. You deserve to be you deserve to have someone who's going to really love you, and who's going to truly be there for you. You deserve to have the best person for you. But unfortunately, this isn't how it is all the time. In movies, we're led to have this expectation that, we meet a person as kind of like fireworks and sparks, and the guy and the girl, if it's a traditional heteronormative narrative, the guy and the girl kind of like, spend more and more time together, they get to know each other more and more, and they be around each other and they fall in love and they have this wonderful relationship, and it's like the love of their life, and where have they been all their life? And it then leads to us wanting that in our own real life. Raining corn dogs. I love that. Hi, gorgeous. Thank you. I love the name. And so, basically we have an expectation that if we're kind, caring, loving person, that why wouldn't anyone be like that back to us, right? But unfortunately, there are people in the world that aren't the same as us, right? There's a saying in the law of attraction world. If you're spiritual and you believe in law of attraction, there's a saying that is, oh, you attract a mirror image of yourself. But I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm not saying it never happens, but I know from personal experience, you don't just attract what you are, you attract what other people want. Thus, if you are a person who's really raw and real, you're going to attract people who are fakers and who haven't got the guts to be raw and real because they see in you something that they don't have themselves and they want a piece of that. They don't really know totally maybe what that is, but they sniff it and smell it out and they're like, oh, there's something about this person that just gets under my skin and I just kind of want it, right? Also, some people can see you as a challenge, right? And if they're not a good person, it's a challenge for them to be able to change you, to be able to manipulate you, to be able to control you, right? A person who is free as a bird and wants to be free often attracts the people that want to cage them up, right? So we attract twats because actually we're attracting a lot of the time the opposite of what we want. And if we're kind, caring, honest people, we kind of want to give people a chance. We want people to have the benefit of the doubt as to whether they are actually genuine or not. And so we come from a very loving, caring place often, but this attracts people who are actually the opposite to us. It attracts people who are dishonest. It attracts people who want to cage the person who wants to be free. The number of women you'll come across in your life who have a very freedom type of personality, bubbly, loud, and talkative. How many of those women do you know who attract guys who want to control them, who want to cage them like an animal or a bird? Just think about it for a minute. It's because they can't stand a woman being free. They can't stand to see someone free because they want them for themselves. But instead of the person who I'm calling a twat in this instance, instead of them being kind, caring, and getting actually the relationship they want in a healthy way, they seek it out in unhealthy ways. Now, this can be for a number of reasons. It can be often because of their attachment style from childhood, which is not necessarily their fault, right? Because how you're taken care of as a baby by your caregivers, your guardians, whoever's looking after you, your peers. Like, you might not even be brought up by your parents. You might be brought up by an auntie or something. Do you know what I mean? So whoever your main caregivers are, however they relate to you as a baby often affects you in adulthood. Thus, if you felt as a baby that you had your emotions neglected, you would either, depending on how that was done, you would either get anxiously attached, thinking, where is the person when I need them? They're not there for me. Or you could become avoidant attachment, where maybe it was felt in some way that you weren't wanted or needed and you were pushed away. And then in adulthood, you push other people away because you're taught as a child to push people away and that's your normality. Right? So there can be a number of reasons why people act like a twat. But some people like being like that. Some people genuinely like being psychopathic. Some people genuinely like being narcissistic. Some people genuinely like being egotistical. They get a buzz out of it. It makes them feel great. And whatever they're getting a buzz out of it and feeling good, there'll always be people who are victims to that type of person. The way you don't become a victim or stay a victim is if you resist these types of people and keep resisting them. But it can be very difficult because often they will wear you down and they will coat it as love or that they care about you. And it's horrible, And obviously there are some people we can fall for who are the wrong people because the timing's wrong, they're caring and kind people. I'm not on about that. I'm on about the twats. You know who I'm talking about. The people that go out of your life, come back in again, and they put you on this roller coaster of emotions like I like you, I don't like you, want to talk to you, don't want to talk to you, want to talk to you, ignore you. And they play these mind games. And they play these emotional heartstring games. And it is really, really sad. And people who are empathetic, kind, caring, sensitive, honest people are prey to these people because they want you for themselves and they want to keep you to themselves, but in an unhealthy way. Can these people change? If they're a true narcissistic person, if they're a true abuser, true psychopath, then absolutely not. There's no way they're going to change because that's the root of who they are. That's who they chose to be, right? Only if they could see that a life was better if they changed themselves and less painful for them because they'd actually get true, committed, deep soulmate love that they probably really do desire to a certain extent deep inside. Only if they saw the benefit of changing themselves would they actually do it and commit to it. I'm not saying no guys change. Some guys are complete a-holes and they do actually change. I'm saying guys because I'm only attracted to guys, but they could be any gender. Some women are really bad. They cheat on their guys. They don't care. All they care about is money. I'm not that type of girl, but I know women like that. I know women that if they're not getting enough sex, I'm asexual, I don't care about sex. I know women, though, that if they don't get enough sex in their relationship, they'll go elsewhere and get it. If a woman's not getting enough tension from a guy, they'll go elsewhere and get it. And they'll get the sex to go with that usually as well. I've known some women, very sweet and innocent women, and they fall for a guy who's married even, and they'll still have sex with him. They don't care. You have to understand, for every guy that cheats with a woman is cheating with him, right? Let me repeat that. For every guy that's cheating with a woman is cheating with him. So you can't just blame the guy, and think just guys are crap. Excuse my language. It means women are too for doing that with the guy. Right? I would never do that with a guy. I'm not interested in cheating. I get guys in my inbox who are married wanting to chat to me and have a whatever he wants with me. I'm not interested. Couldn't care less about this guy. I think they're disgusting. Absolutely disgust me. Right? And they are real twats and their wives deserve better. And I wish their wives would find out, to be honest. And I wish their wives would just tell them to go away. And so they'd be lonely on their own because they deserve that, to be quite frank with you. They don't deserve to be with a woman if they're treating them like that, And sometimes we come across a person and then they're not who they seem, We think they're a really nice person. We end up in a relationship or dating scenario with them in good faith, believing what they say to us, trusting them. And then we have that shattered and broken because if we're a trustworthy person ourselves, and of course we think other people are trustworthy, why would we not? Unless obviously you're trained to spot people who are untrustworthy, and then you can usually tell after a very short period of time. Right? But unfortunately, I do fall for twats sometimes. And it's horrible. So if you remember way back in May now, and we're in October 2022, I had a date with a guy from Facebook dating. I had more than one date with different guys. So I had one date with a guy who's Indian, 21 years old, from Facebook dating. I had a guy with a date with a Pakistani guy who was older than that. Both from Facebook dating. The Pakistani guy lied, so that wasn't good. And the 21-year-old, the kissing, yeah, great. But after that, he just wanted to use me for kissing and didn't want anything else. And the 21-year-old, unfortunately, I did get some love feelings. And it's really, really upsetting. And he keeps coming back into my life when I'm trying to get over him and move on with my life. He watches this channel. Like, he's messaged again today from another YouTube channel. And he's messaged me on 2 of my business pages when I blocked him on other business pages and blocked him on his other YouTube channel. I don't see the point. It's just really upsetting me. And he knows it, and that's why he's doing it. And it's just horrible, And it's horrible. Because this guy doesn't care about me. He just wants to use me. All he wants to do is use me for kissing. That's it. And it hurts. It really does. But I deserve better than that, you know? I deserve an honest guy who I can totally trust and who is trustworthy and honest, which clearly he isn't. And I hate guys who play mind games and upset women's emotions. You know, it's a shame it's not a crime and they don't get locked up in prison for it, to be quite honest with you, because they seem to not think it's wrong. It doesn't matter what you say, it goes in one ear and out the other, you know? And, you know, a happy relationship is one based on mutual trust, care, respect, teamwork, honesty. I have beautiful friends in my life who I know are completely honest. There's one of my friends is attracted to me, like, but we're not suitable to be in a relationship. But he never ever makes me feel like I have to question how he feels about me, even though we can't be in a relationship. Because we're not suitable to actually be in a relationship. Right? But he never ever makes me doubt how beautiful I am. He never ever makes me doubt how amazing I am. Ever. Even though we can't be in a relationship, he always makes me feel loved just by the actions and the support he gives me. Right? And so I know what a good guy looks like. You know? And he likes talking to me. He messages me regularly, you know? And I know that's a good guy, you know? And unfortunately, like I said, we fall for twats because we are kind, caring people and we attract those that are the opposite, but they can see something in you that they themselves haven't got. And it's really sad because some of these people do want to be loved for who they are, but they just won't behave like that. They just won't change, right? You can't change someone who doesn't want to change. You know, and I think it's horrible when guys just show up. And why do they do this? They show up to let you know that they're still there. They show up to let you know that they're still an option. Because actually they don't want other guys to have you. They want to have you all to themselves still, but yet they don't want the commitment. So they come and pop back up in your life to remind you that they're still there so that you don't forget them. And so it is harder for you to get over them. It's like constantly reminding you of who they are so you get some feelings back again for them. So you think about them again. And it's an egotistical, selfish thing, really, because they don't want you in a serious, committed relationship. They don't love you. They don't care about you. They just want to use you. Right? That's all they want to do. And it's really sad. And I wish they'd stop it. But unfortunately, these people, they just get obsessed, some of them. And what's so stupid is they'll spend their life obsessing in an unhealthy way about someone they don't actually want to commit to in the first place. Whereas they could have actually changed themselves to be a really nice person and end up in a committed relationship with the person. But yet they don't want commitment. So they do this push-pull thing where it's like, I'm coming towards you now. I'm here. I'm who you want me to be. Then they literally take that away and like go from your life again. And it's like a roller coaster of emotions. These guys are not stable to be in a relationship with. They're an insecure person. They're an unhealthy person because you'll always be on a seesaw of emotions with them. You'll never have a smooth ride with them. They'll always feel like you're flailing around and your arms are going all over the place and your mind and your emotions, and they'll just be playing you like a musical instrument. It's a form of control and manipulation, sadly, and it's really disappointing and really disgusting. And I wish that no person in the world had to go through this. I wish people would just be honest, and I wish people would just leave people alone if they're not actually interested in them. If they don't want a relationship with someone, what's the point in pursuing them? You know what I mean? It's like clearly there's no point. But these people keep coming back for, like I said, egotistical and selfish reasons. They don't want you to get over them. They want you to still think about them. They want to still be in your life. but they don't want to be committed to you. So they want their cake and eat it, in other words. I've actually had exes like this. The guy who I was in a relationship with when I was 16, the first guy I ever thought I loved, but I wasn't completely sure. That was kind of like a transitional relationship, if you like. But it was the first person I ever thought I loved, and I thought I would spend the rest of my life with that guy. And I remember he absolutely broke my heart. It was 6 months I was with him, and he dumped me, and it was awful. I was crying my heart. I was quite hysterical. I was really attached to him. And I honestly thought I was gonna spend the rest of my life with him. I got on well with his parents, particularly his mum and his sister. I used to go over there and stay over at his place because I was that type of person back then. I used to do voluntary work where he used to do voluntary work. We used to chat and be friends and everything. I honestly thought that I was gonna be with him forever, and it was just horrible when he split up with me in the way he did it. And you don't ever really forget anything like that. But he wanted to stay friends, and I said no, and I'm glad I said no. I could never be friends with someone like that because I know that I would get feelings for them again. And luckily enough time passed that years later he did come back into my life and apologize for the bad way he treated me. He had a girlfriend then and he's with her now, and I'm glad. But that was a difficult time for me as well because I really genuinely thought I loved that person when I was 16, and that was really hard. And that guy I did have sex with, he's the first guy I ever had sex with, even though I'm asexual and don't want sex. And it was really difficult. I have had sex since then, but not for since 2011, thank God. I don't want it again. And no, I didn't have a bad experience last time. People always say that, oh, you've done it because of bad experience. It's like, no, I've had sex with 5 guys. Like, the last guy was the best guy. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested in sex. I like a very loving, caring, committed relationship that's completely sex-free. I'm not interested in that. I don't find sex appealing. I don't think sex is love. I don't think sex is a good thing for me personally. I just like the cute, cuddly, fluffy type relationship. I'd rather be on my own than with the wrong guy. But, we fall for twats sometimes because we're lonely as well. Some people are lonely. And I'm not lonely. I do like my own company. Um, I do crave romance though, which is difficult for me. And I think obviously because I crave romance, then obviously when I do look for a guy, I attract the wrong guy sometimes because of romantic and aesthetic feelings get in the way. So with sexual people, for example, heterosexuals, they could fall for twats because of their sexual attraction. The physical sexual attraction being really, really strong, right? But asexuals, if we experience romantic attraction, which not all asexuals do, and aesthetic attraction, that can be so strong, it can be as compelling as sexual attraction. And so therefore, again, you could find yourself chemically, if you like, attracted to someone so much that, it releases dopamine chemicals and feel good chemicals. So you automatically then associate that person with those chemical reactions. You don't think they're chemicals. You're like, whoa, this is amazing feeling. But it's like hormones, chemical release, serotonin, dopamine. And if you are with someone who instigates those feelings in you, who stirs them within you, even through messaging, you don't even have to be physical with them, then that can lead you to end up being loving a twat because it's the physicality that you're attracted to. It's like being attracted to someone physically, like sexual attraction, but in actual fact, there's no basis for a real relationship there. It's just physical stuff, which will fizzle out. It can't last. Physical stuff cannot last. You can't have a relationship based on physical stuff. It just doesn't work. People get bored. People don't understand each other. People have fights because they're not on the same page. They have different morals, ethics, beliefs. They can't even understand each other. There's no deep emotional connection. If you're asexual, the way we love is through a deep emotional connection. But you might get a scenario where you feel emotionally connected to someone. And that can be why you fall for a twat, because they can create an emotional connection with you. Some guys are very cunning. Some guys know how to create an emotional connection. And when you have an emotional connection with someone, you've got to be very careful that they don't control that connection, because you can do a lot when you understand a person's emotions and you know what turns them on and off emotionally and how to pull those emotional heartstrings. Some people are very good at doing this for leveraging their own gains and means, right? For example, I'm in the entrepreneur world, right? And there's psychology in marketing, right? And the psychology can be used for good or it can be used for bad. So you can have psychology where you're persuading someone to do something for their own greater good, or you can use the psychology to persuade someone to do something that isn't good for them, but you try and make them believe it's good for them. And so, people can use a lot of psychological trickery, which can also be why you fall for twats. Because one minute they're making out they're a really nice person, kind and caring and really like you and into you. The next minute they're showing you that they don't care about you. They're accusing you of doing something or being something that you're not, because actually they're like that. They're basically trying to gaslight you, which means blurring your sense of reality, making you question yourself and things. And the more that they do stuff like this, if you have feelings for them, the more that you will be thinking about them, even if you don't like them, because you're thinking about what they're doing to you. So, what is the best course of action? Well, often the best course of action is ignoring these people, blocking these people. There might be things that you feel you do need to say to this person in order to get some closure. So, that might be something you do need to do. But I suggest you keep that to a minimum if you need to do it. Sometimes it's better to actually have discussions and leave, but often you won't actually leave this person if you love them, because you want to see the best in them. You want to believe they're not this twattish person. They're just like having an off day and they're just being an idiot for this moment, right? But really, in reality, the truth is that whenever you talk to them, you can't totally trust them. You can't, they're not totally honest with you. They don't really deeply care about you the way you care about them. And so it's really no go, right? Earlier on today, I was going to say that's gone into the next day now. I was video calling a really good asexual friend. Doesn't live in my country, lives in another country. Foreign, but not Indian. Very aesthetically beautiful, actually. I tell him this even though we're not suitable for a relationship, right? But one of the best things he has is the most beautiful personality. I mean, he is 100% honest. Like, he was just today, like, we spent hours together on video call, like 4 hours. Time just flies by, because it's just really good. And he's got a few female friends. He prefers female to male, so I've got more male friends. And so like, he was showing me, like, voluntarily, and I was thinking, God, why don't like, this is how that this person's a really good guy. He will be a good guy for someone to be in a relationship with. It's not going to be me, because he's not attracted to me. But he'll be a really good guy for someone to be in a relationship with, because one is completely honest. I mean, completely honest. Like, I am completely honest. Like, every little thing is honesty. So he was showing me, like, voluntarily screen sharing his screen with me, and he was going through, like, his YouTube channel, what he watches on YouTube, like all the different channels he watches, his music collection, video games with me, so I could really get to know him more. I didn't ask him to do that. He said, "Oh, I want to share," at the beginning of the conversation, like, "I want to share my screen with you tonight." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. That's really nice of you." And I'm like, God, and I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, my God, this guy is amazing. Like, I would like these type of qualities in a guy for a relationship, because obviously he's amazing. Like, he's completely honest and transparent. He doesn't have anything to hide. He's literally like he wanted me to say. He started the whole conversation before we even started chatting. He's like, the first thing he's like saying, I think it was even in a text message, is like, "I want to show you my screen. I want to, I want to show you a screen share with you, if I may." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And and when you've got good guys and people like that in your life, and I've got very honest friends who like just don't lie to me and really, really want a connection with me. I mean, I have emotional connections with my friends, even though they're not in a relationship with me. When you've got that level of depth of friendship and understanding and trust, you know these people are really good, then you've got something to compare it to. And so you can then recognize the twats a lot more. The twats are the ones that they don't want an emotional connection with you unless it benefits them. And what do I mean by that? That means they want you emotionally connected to them, but they do not want to be emotionally connected to you. Because it's like a fishing game to them, right? So they have got like a worm wiggling around on a hook. And they want to bait the fish. They want to capture the fish. So they wiggle the worm round on the hook. But remember, they're holding the handle. They're not actually physically holding the worm. They're holding the handle. So they're disassociated from the actual bait. So basically, they desire to hook you, like use the worm to hook you onto that hook to keep you and to capture you. And how they do this is by not sharing things. So when you want to emotionally connect with someone in a relationship or dating scenario, you will share your life with this person. You'll share secrets with them because secrets is intimacy. When you share intimate secrets, you share things about yourself that other people don't know. It automatically bonds you more to a person, more emotionally bonds you, right? If you share stuff with them, and they are listening to you and being proactive in that way, you're feeling like heard and seen, which is often what people don't feel in this world. And so if they create an emotional connection with you somehow and make you feel emotionally connected to them, even if they're distant from you, then you're basically like that fish that's eating that worm and hooked on them. And they might just give you a little tip for it. So it's a bit like the fish hasn't ate the worm for ages. It's going around, doesn't want to get trapped in nets, and its only source of food is this worm, right? On this hook. There's, they haven't seen another piece of worm for ages. So they get hooked on this worm, and then the worm is there, they eat a little bit of it, and then the worm's pulled away from them. And they're like, where's the rest of the food? I need more of it. So then they give you a bit more. And then they take the hook away again. And this is how it is with guys who are no good for you, or any gender that's not good for you. They literally try and hook you. They do the worming technique, if you like, which is literally called breadcrumbing, is actually the technical name for it. Breadcrumbing is when someone comes into your life, gives you a breadcrumb of attention and what you want, they think you want, and then goes off again. These are bad guys that do this. This is what the 21-year-old is trying to do to me. Let's breadcrumb her. I'll say to her really nice things, and I'll remind her that I'm here. Then I'll go away again. Then every few weeks or months, I'll try and find her on social media again. I'll talk to her again, maybe from a different account, and then I'll go away again. And I'll say to her really nice things like I'm here for her and all this crap, because he's not here for me at all. And what he means to say is I'm here ready to kiss you. But it's a load of rubbish anyway, because he says like text me, and then I've disabled text. Like, yeah, right, okay. These people are insane, right? No sane person behaves in this way. It's insane behavior. And there's nothing you can do about it. If they don't see their behavior, there's nothing you can do about it. So anyway, this breadcrumbing is when they put minimal effort into talking to you, but want to get high returns. So they want to get what they want to get out of you by breadcrumbing you. So it's like the fish that's trying to catch the worm and eat it, and the person with the hook will not allow them to eat the whole worm. And when you're really hungry, so for example, with me, obviously, I love kissing, and I haven't kissed for a while. And I've been to clubs, but there's been no one suitable to kiss, and I'm not really going there for that. I'm going there to dance and enjoy my own self and be myself. And although I love kissing, I'm trying to like contain that as much as possible, because I'd rather be focusing on my career and focusing on more healthy things than being with the wrong person, you know? And so, basically that's what they do. They breadcrumb. And so this is like, they give you a little bit of what they think you want and take it away from you again. So it's always trying to play with your emotions And sometimes they'll be nice to you, sometimes they'll be horrible to you and tell you that you're not the nice person. Then they'll come back in your life and be nice again to you, and they're not nice to you. And so this is just a very, very unstable person who's not a healthy person for you to ever be in a relationship or dating scenario with. You can never trust them. You can then they're not honest, they're dishonest, they will lie and tell you what they think you want to hear. You know, they're unreliable, they can never make you feel secure. And that's the major thing. You can never ever be secure with a person who's not treating you in a secure way. If a person is like a seesaw, there's nothing stable about a seesaw. So you can't have a dating scenario or relationship scenario with this type of person, because you'll always be up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and it'll destroy your mental health. And they don't care. It's what's even worse. They don't think about you in that way. They think about you as in they like you and want to do stuff with you, but they don't think about your feelings or emotions or care about you. They don't care that they're hurting you. They don't care that they're causing you pain. It's very, very selfish, actually. You know, and it's very irrational, insane behavior. And so there's nothing you can do about it. Just hope that they eventually go away and block them or not talk to them, get rid of them out of your life as much as possible. But, you know, people who get obsessed find whatever ways they can to find you. But the best thing you can do is to be by yourself and be happy. And, you know, when you feel ready, if you feel ready, and when you feel ready, is to pursue or be pursued by guys who genuinely love you, who care about you, who want you in their life, who are healthy guys. They want to make you secure and happy, because someone who loves and genuinely cares about someone will want to foster positivity with you. They'll want to foster security with you. They'll want to foster happiness with you. Your happiness and your security will be their main priority. They won't want to break your heart or hurt you, because if they have a fundamental soulmate friendship connection with you, breaking your heart would be like breaking theirs. It would be like breaking their heart. You know, if I am upset, right, one of my friends, my closest friends, best friends, if I'm upset, my friends, well, probably more than one friend, feels it. They feel my pain because they're empathetic people and they genuinely care about me. And they love me in a friendship way, even if they don't say it, or even, you know, if that's not something they would say or think in terms of like the way they act towards me. Right? A person who genuinely cares about someone, you know, cares about their welfare, cares about their well-being, wants to make them happy, wants to please them, wants to serve them, wants to share their love with them, with the world, wants to be proud to be with them. You know, like someone on my Facebook, right? He's an older guy and he just proposed to his woman, and he's been married before and he went through a divorce that was very difficult for him and a difficult marriage. And afterwards, he met this amazing woman. They've had a baby. I'm not saying I want marriage, and I definitely don't want a baby. But what I'm trying to say is he turned his life around. He went from a marriage he was unhappy in and a divorce that was painful for him to finding the woman of his life, creating a whole new life with her, having a child with her, and now getting married to her. She isn't like a skinny woman either, but he sees a beauty in her. And she makes him very happy. A person who is good for you and healthy will want to work with you as a team. They won't put you down, they'll lift you up. They'll be like a star in the sky. They'll be wanting to lift you up. They'll be there for you in your darkest days, and they'll be there for you on the brightest days. They'll want to listen to you in your pain, and they'll want to help you in your sorrow. They'll want to join with you in your joy. And they'll want to fight for you because they know you're worth fighting for. You know, and it's my wish and hope that the twats in the world would wake up to the fact they are behaving like that and they would change. Majority will never, ever, ever change because they honestly don't think there's anything wrong with them. They think it's fine to treat people like dirt like this, but it's really not. Maybe when they come to be like, I don't know, 90 or whatever years old, if they live that long, and they come and they're on their deathbed and they look back and think, what good did I do in the world? What did I actually do with my life? And they actually think, "Oh, yeah, I was a real twat to that person. I was really horrible. I really hurt their feelings because I was so selfish." Maybe then they'll actually have some speck of, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have been like that," you know? I know for a fact, like, when I'm not here anymore, I'll be proud that I lived a good life, that I wanted to help people, that I'm kind-hearted, caring, honest, loving, giving, sharing. I'm really proud of the person I am today. I'm not perfect and I still always need to work on myself, you know, especially like I have an anxiety condition, so that's always difficult for me. And some days and quite often I'm really good, and then sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, but we all have to deal with difficult things in life. And obviously, if you do have anxiety and something like that, then the last thing you want to do is get mixed up with a twat. Because, like I said, they will just give you this seesaw effect throughout your whole time with them. And this is really unhealthy, really abusive, really damaging. And it will make you feel worse. And you'll go to another dating or relationship scenario not being able to trust that person. So the best advice I can give you is if you've been hurt like this, is to give yourself a break and try and heal if the person will let you away from them. Because, you know, I mean, I've literally given up on Facebook dating and Bumble, and it's difficult for me because sometimes I just think I see couples together and they're holding hands, and I think, "Oh, I really want that." They look really like they're close and best friends, and you know, but obviously behind closed doors, they might not be like that, and you have to remind yourself of that. But because I'm a really romantic girl and I do believe there is a really good Indian guy somewhere in the world for me, a really nice guy who's 23 and upwards, then, you know, I kind of do that, have that in my head sometimes, you know, but I'd rather be following my career and chasing my dreams and living my passions than worrying about a guy I might not meet. I don't want to say that because it's sad. But, I deserve a really good guy for me, you know, not one who's being a twat and just being horrible and not nice, you know? And it doesn't matter what you say to these people, they're never gonna change, usually. So, you can't do anything but change yourself, and that means going away and doing your own thing and, like, healing, but it's really difficult because I did have feelings for that 21-year-old. I didn't mean to have them, and I've still been getting over it. Like, it's really weird he's come back into my life because I thought I was, like, getting over him, and I thought this was really good, and then all of a sudden he came back in my head, like, in the last week as well, and so that's even worse for me because he's come back at a time where I had him in my head, like, last week, and I'm like, "Oh, damn it, I've still got some feelings," which I didn't know because I wasn't consciously aware of them anymore, really, and I'm like, "Damn it, I've still got some work to do," but when he keeps coming back into my life, you know, it's gonna be harder, and he knows that, that's why he's doing it, and that's horrible, you know? It's like, you know, you're not gonna be the right guy for me, so why not leave me alone to be with someone who can love me and care about me like I need them and want them and deserve to have that, you know? It's just like gives you false hope, you know? These twats give you false hope basically, and it's just not nice. But all we can do is keep strengthening ourselves, keep being beautiful us, keep getting friends who know are good for us. Because if we have friends and we understand that our friends treat us really well, they're completely honest, caring, kind, loving, empathetic, they have the qualities that we wish we could get in a partner. Eventually, a person's going to come along like that who does want to be in a relationship with you. That is what I believe. Because at the end of the day, relationships and even dating are a numbers game, and the more people you talk to, the more likely you are to eventually come across the right person, the good person for you, you know? And I do believe that person is looking for you. If you're a good person, I believe there's someone out there. I mean, there is probably some Indian guy in the world that honestly is looking for someone just like me. And he probably doesn't even know I exist. And he's probably like not so happy as he could be in his life. And he's thinking, oh God, I just wish there was a girl who's an older girl, because I prefer older girls because they're more mature and they know what they want in life and they're just smarter and well, I'm smart. And, and he's looking for someone like me basically, and he's probably like thinking there isn't any girls, they're all rubbish. Not all women are rubbish, obviously. Like not all guys are rubbish, clearly, because I've got male friends. But there's probably a guy somewhere in the world that's looking for me. Like I would fit his absolute description. Like he would fit mine pretty much. No one's gonna be perfect though. So I say absolute description, I mean near enough. And I bet he's looking for me and he can't find me. It's like, oh my God, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. I'm like, yes, but I'm a needle that does shine out. I just have to keep having a louder and louder voice till you find me wherever you are, you know? Because I would like to find my proper Indian soulmate. I do still believe my soulmate's Indian, even though I get Indian guys in my inbox all the time, nearly every day, who are just not good. They're twats, basically. Like a lot of them are. Like it's like clearly put in my bio in this Indian group, I'm looking for a guy in the UK. And it's like, and I get guys in India. I'm in India. It's like I've said I want an Indian guy in the UK, not in India, mate. And it's like I get some with fake profiles. They put models on their profiles, and they're thinking like I don't know. I'm thinking, God, do you think you're that ugly that you've got to put models on your pictures? Is that how you view yourself, that you can't show yourself? Like I'm on Instagram now, as you know, and I put like unfiltered pictures on there because I'm just like, well, let me stand out. The way I can stand out is everyone's filtering themselves, or I won't filter myself. And I'm not saying I'll never filter myself because apparently that's how Instagram works, but I just don't like filtering myself, to be honest. I'm like, well, you're blooming beautiful as you are. Why put filters all over your face and stuff? It just looks weird. Well, I haven't even tried it, to be honest, but I know what other filters are, but it's like, I like being raw and real and authentic me, and I'm thinking that I stand out more on social media for the fact that I don't usually wear makeup a lot of the time. That I'm just like being me and actually natural. Some guys really like the natural look, because they're fed up of people just pushing makeup all the time. Like, if you see a woman with no makeup on after she's had it on, it can be a real shock. But there you go. So I do believe that, people deserve really good people. Unfortunately, when I did the pattern changing course in 2013, so if you don't know what a pattern changing course is, basically, I have had abusive relationships in the past. And unfortunately, people who've been in abusive relationships tend to attract abusers and narcissists continuously throughout their life, unless they spot the signs early of what like abuse, narcissism, unless they spot the signs early of this type of person, or they can change themselves to a certain extent to try and attract these people less, or they can just try and change their self so that they know not to get with this type of person. Well, in the UK, there's something called the NHS, the National Health Service. And I spoke to my doctor years ago in 2013 and asked, can I go on this pattern changing course? Because I didn't want to get into abusive relationship anymore. And I went on this 14-week course. It was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And it literally showed you how to spot signs of abuse, narcissism, basically gaslighting, all this type of stuff. It's one of the most invaluable courses I've ever done. But it was shocking because back then they said like 1/3 of people, like 33% basically of people you come across are in abusive relationships. This means 1 in every 3 people you meet are abusive. This means 1 in every 3 guys I talk to are gonna be abusive. And that is really, really sad. But that's just the way it is. And so we have to be mindful of this stuff. We have to be mindful that unfortunately there are not courses out there teaching people in schools how to be a healthy person. I'm not just talking about healthy as in food. I'm talking about healthy as in personality, as in mind, as in, like treating people with respect and kindness and honesty and not manipulating someone, but genuinely wanting to work as a team to build something really good and stable and secure. People who are in healthy relationships have this teamwork ethic. It's a sense of this person's my best friend. And I love my best friend and I want the best for their health and well-being. I want to protect them. I want to care for them. I want to make them happy. I want to make them feel secure and safe. And I want to be with them and I want to work with them to foster love and positivity and to foster a healthy relationship. People who are healthy understand that commitment and to the right people, the right person, it requires teamwork. And actually, you can have a great deal of security in a serious, committed relationship as opposed to continually dating people. Because if you've just got one relationship to focus on and you realize you've got to develop and grow yourself in order to be healthy, to continue to maintain and sustain that relationship, if you look at it as a relationship that's got personal development and personal growth in it, and the person makes you a better version of yourself than ever you ever felt possible. What I mean by that is they don't just go, oh, I'm going to change you to be a better version. They actually help you to grow as a person because they're encouraging you to be more of your authentic self. They're encouraging you in your dreams and goals and ambitions. They're encouraging you to open up about your feelings and emotions that maybe were shut down as a child. They're encouraging you to be you and to love you and to care about you, and vice versa. They're helping you to be a healthy person, right? People who are in serious committed relationships and they actually are prepared not to cheat on that person, because it's easy to cheat. It's harder to stay uncheating, right? People who do that, they develop this mindset that's actually more secure if they're in a relationship where they are committed to that person and they are fostering these type of positive emotions together and they're working as a team to grow the relationship, right? A relationship that doesn't grow and stagnate, it dies. That's when people go off with other people, when the emotional connection's not there, when they're not getting their needs met. This is when they look elsewhere, right? And yes, you can't have every single need met every single part of the day by this person, but you should be both striving to understand each other's needs and wants and desires, and to create safe environment for each of you to talk about those things that's important to you, and to be able to support each other in that way. You know, there's a couple on YouTube called the Brazilian couple. If you ever watch them, you will see that they have this most amazing type of love between them. They're always so romantic. They're kissing on camera. They dance. That's their thing. They're professional dancers. They dance together and they do videos of them dancing. And their relationship is so loving. The guy's often doing the cooking and a lot of cooking he does. So the guy's very domesticated as well. He's not leaving it all to the woman, you know? And he likes making food for her and stuff, you know? And so it's just a wonderful, loving, romantic relationship every single day with those two. It's kind of like you wish that you had that type of relationship, because it's like a dream relationship a lot of the time. They are open and honest. They do Q&A and they do say that it hasn't always been easy. You know, because when they first met, he was actually interested in another. He was interested in her, but she wasn't interested. Well, she acted or said she wasn't interested in him. And then he started seeing this other woman, and then he like wanted to go out with her, and she found out he was seeing this other woman. And so then it's like, no. And she said he used to be a player, but then he settled down with her. So, you know, it's a lot better to actually not be a player and to actually be in a serious, committed, caring relationship with someone, because then you can get true love. But unfortunately, we can fall for twats who are players. And all you can do with a player is either play the game with them or get out of the game. That's your two options. And to be quite honest and frank, I don't like guys who play games. I don't like any people who play games and mess with people's emotions. I think it's very sick, quite frankly. I think it's very sick. I think it's quite psychotic. And I think it's disgusting. You know, guys who play mind games, who play with girls' emotions and heartstrings, and they have no remorse about it. It's just like I said, it's just like the worm dangling on the hook with the fish getting just little bits now and again. It's really not good, you know. So I hope that if you have a twat pursuing you, that they leave you alone in the end, or you just get someone much better for you. Because the best revenge, really, I don't believe in revenge, but if you're going to get any, it's to just have a wonderful life on your own, or in a loving, caring, committed relationship with someone who adores you and would never make you question how they feel about you, would always want to make you happy as much as possible, would always have your best interests at heart, would always make you feel loved, cherished, adored, would never make you question who you are, never make you question your beauty, and will always be, like, faithful to you, you know? We have to think that there are good people still in the world, and that even if we've been hurt by twats, not everyone is a twat, you know? Especially if you have good friends. I have really good friends. And, and they're very loyal, very honest, very good people, and I can totally trust them. And so, I just have to wait to see if there happens to be any guy who comes into my life who actually is romantic and aesthetically attracted to me back in the same way as I am him, and who equally loves and adores me and has a soulmate romantic emotional connection with me. Yeah. So, but it takes time. Like, the best types of relationship are always built on friendship anyway. But currently none of my friends are suitable for a relationship with me. So yeah, and I can't see that changing at all, probably. Not anytime soon, and probably never. There's only one person that I'd possibly be suited to, and we're not. So yeah, so that's it really. But I think it's better to be by yourself and be happy and treated well than it is to be with a twat who's just like blowing hot and cold with you, putting in minimal effort, right? If someone puts in minimal effort, by the way, if you are dating and you've got someone in your inbox and they are literally putting minimal effort in, then give them minimal effort back. So if someone just says hi, say hi back. If someone's saying how are you, say how are you. Because at the end of the day, there's no point in putting time, energy, and effort into that type of thing if they're not going to even bother with you. There needs to be some conversation. If they can't even have a proper conversation with you, they cannot be in a relationship with you or date you. It's like I had a guy in my inbox the other day. I don't know who it was, some foreign guy, I think. And he was like, "Oh, should we connect on Instagram?" And then that was it. I'm like, I saw his message days later. I'm like, why would we do that? I never heard from him again. I'm like, you're not a strong guy. I need a strong guy for me. I have not found a strong guy for me yet. At all. At all. It's just like, where are the strong guys? Where are they? Clearly, I have to keep changing my life. Then I'll find more stronger guys. I think I'd suit a guy who's in the entrepreneur space, because then I think the guy's much likely to be a stronger guy. He's used to being on social media like I am, and I just find those guys, the younger guys, there are younger entrepreneur guys I talk to, and they're just like much more stronger. They can handle their life, they're well organized, they can manage their emotions and feelings, they can manage their time. They, pursue things with passion. They're trustworthy people, loving, caring people. And I just think I'd be better suited to someone in that type of space, because that's the type of space I'm in, basically. And so, I think I've just got a way to go on my journey. But it's horrible when you do love a twat, because it's like, it is difficult to get over them, even though, they're a twat. Because, if you love someone, you love someone, can't help it, can you? If you have love feelings, even if it's not full-blown love, you just can't help that. You can't help how you feel about someone. All you have to do is keep reminding yourself that they're not a good person for you, that they would never make you happy, that you can't trust them, that they're always going to be on this seesaw of emotions where you don't want to go. I mean, it's the most unhealthiest type of relationship, whether it's a dating scenario or relationship, that you can ever have. And it's just really abusive, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's not the type of person you want to be with. You want to be with someone who's stable, strong, secure within themselves. So that it doesn't matter what other people come their way, they're not going to go off with anyone. A guy or whatever gender who's insecure will always make you question, is he going to go off with someone else? Because as soon as another girl pays that guy attention, they'll be off. Because they like attention. Right? And when you get into a relationship, you'll be surprised at how many more people pay you attention. People don't tend to pay you as much attention when you're out of a relationship. When you're in a relationship, especially when you're first in a relationship, you're usually really happy, honeymoon period. And you're like a magnet for attracting other people. So actually, when you get into a relationship, you might find that you have 3 people interested in you, but before you go into a relationship, you had no one. And if you're a strong person, you'll just be thinking, well, that's nice, but I'm with someone now. I've got my person, I'm satisfied. I don't want to keep searching around. I don't want to play games. I don't want to mess my life around anymore. I'm satisfied with what I've got. These people can move on. A person who's insecure and doesn't really care about the person will just be like soaking all the attention up from the other women, and they'll have all these people on the go at once, and they'll be keeping reserves. Like, oh, I'll be with this woman or girl or whatever, and then I'll actually keep talking to all these girls, because if this one doesn't work out, there'll be another one. And usually, if they split up with someone, those girls will disappear anyway, because there's something like in psychology where they like popularity, even on social media. If there's something that's really popular, they'll share it, and it gets shared more and more and more and goes viral a lot of the time, because people don't want to miss out on something that looks attractive. Well, if someone's in a relationship with someone, there's something automatically attractive about that person, because someone's valued them enough to be in a relationship with them. They've given them a kind of a higher price tag, if you like. It's like, oh, I've got this person now. They're in a relationship with me. Thus, they're less accessible to other people in that way. So thus it become a more valuable asset, if you want to say it in logical, clinical terms. And therefore, more people want that thing. It's like how the auctions work. When they start bidding and bidding and bidding, it's like, oh, I want that because the other person wants it. So I'll try and compete for it, right? This is how it works. So, like, sometimes with me, I'll have no guys interested in me, then I'll have three at once. This has happened multiple times throughout my life. And they'll be like, no admirers, then three at once. To be honest, three at once just gets like a bit much, to be honest. Usually none of them are right for me. But obviously, with my mindset, I'll be like, oh, give them the benefit of the doubt. And it's like, yeah, none of them are right for me anyway. And that just wastes my time, really. So I'm quite glad at the moment. I'm just like on my own. But I mean, I've had Indian guys in my inbox like even earlier. I think it's 5, from a dating group. I'm in 4 or 5. And 2 of them are like, "Hi, baby." It's like, I don't even know who you are, Why call me baby? I'm not your baby. I'm just me. I do like being called baby in a relationship, actually. You're my baby. You're my honey. But yeah, I'm not their baby. I don't even know who they are. And obviously, I am an intelligent person. So yeah, um, and so it's just really difficult, I think, like if you are having feelings for someone who's the wrong person for you and they're the wrong person, there's nothing you can do about it other than try to get over them, move on, help yourself to develop better skills to find these people out sooner, um, big yourself up more, be there for you more, love yourself more, because the more that you are doing things that make you happy, the more you love yourself, the less you'll need or want that other person in your life, and don't be afraid to get out there if you want and date someone else. But I would say heal first, like I at the moment, like I even from all the kind of past couple of years, like not even just the 21-year-old this year, like the guys last year, the Tunisian guy, the other Indian guy who was asexual, I thought was my actual soulmate, him. Like, even that was really upsetting for me. So I've just had like a couple of years of upset and pain and heartache with dating relationships concerned. And even in the past, I just don't want it anymore. I've had enough. I don't want that pain and upset. I'd rather be by myself. I do at the moment have a strong urge to kiss, like only in the last 24 hours, really, again. Which is weird. It's like it keeps coming back. But obviously I'm a hyper romantic and it's coming up near Christmas. I think it's because someone put in one of my asexual groups that it's a time of year, particularly with the seasons, that they really wish they had someone to be in a relationship with, to go on dates and to do stuff with. And I was saying, yeah, I understand them, like the kissing, the cuddling, because I don't do this type of stuff with my friends, And so I do think, oh, it would be nice to go to the cinema, like actually in a relationship, go to the cinema and chat till the early hours and kiss and cuddle. But I haven't met that guy who wants to have that type of relationship with me yet. I haven't met the guy who'd be ideal for me yet. Who just be like, I need a guy who's gonna be strong and caring and kind and sensitive and who's really gonna be into me and who's gonna love talking to me a lot. Like I have some people, and I think some people, like, because I talk a lot, obviously, and and I have an extrovert personality. I really probably suit someone who is ambivert, like, or probably ambivert. Like nearly all my friends are introverts, but they can get drained of energy being around people. It's nothing personal, it's just being around people. But really, I prefer to be in a relationship with someone, because obviously I'll be spending more time with a person in a relationship, like a lot longer periods in one go, in person, then I think I'd be better off with someone probably who's an ambivert, someone who's like not necessarily extrovert or introvert, but can like kind of like be indoors sometimes and be outdoors other times. Because like if you have two extroverts like me and someone else, that would maybe clash quite badly. Might do, I don't know. I used to think I'd be good with an extrovert, but I think maybe it would clash too badly. And I think, if I had it depended on the introverted person, how their introvertism is. I don't even know if that's a word, introvertism. But if they were an introvert, like who, didn't really want to go out in big groups necessarily, and who liked to like go to gym on their own and do walking or hiking or whatever on their own, but then spend time with me, that might work. But if they were like an introvert that got drained of energy by socializing even with me, then or talking a lot, I don't think that'd be good for me. I think it would make me feel like I wasn't quite enough for them maybe, or I was like not quite right for them. I think I'd be suited to a guy who was really like loving talking and like talking equally as much as me really, and who just really like was into like talking to the early hours about the world, planet, universe, and just really like sharing things. Like the guy I talked to who's my friend in another country, like we had a 4-hour video call. The time just went by really quickly. It was like it wasn't even 4 hours. It felt more like 1 or 2, probably a couple. And so like that type of like, obviously we're not suitable to be in a relationship, but just that's a guy that's being honest and sharing all his screens with me and showing me all his stuff that he loves. And this, I don't like sport myself, but he was showing me the sports, and he loves the British sports as well, which is like really interesting because I'm in the UK. And so, I just found it really nice. I just thought, God, I wish I could have this type of guy in this way in a relationship. Like he's on the aromantic spectrum, so really I would need a guy who's much more romantic and into kissing, I think. But and someone who is attracted to me back would be helpful. Of course, I need that, someone who's attracted me back as much as I'm attracted to them. But the level of talking we did, and the sharing and stuff, I just thought it was really good. And I like the fact that he likes to share equally with me. I think it's a very equal friendship. I really like that about him. Like I haven't known this guy that long, but the time I probably a couple of months maybe now. But we just clicked straight away, like, in talking, and I knew quite quickly that I could trust him, which is quite unusual for me. And so, I kind of would like those qualities. He's probably watching. Hello, who you are. I would like those qualities in a guy in a relationship, because I just think that it would be really healthy for me. And, to have that level of like trust, like, oh, I want to share like my hobbies and interests with you because I just want you to know about me. I just think that's beautiful. I think it's a very beautiful thing, you know. And so I do like those qualities about him a lot. I thought it was really nice. I'm thinking, God, like if this is just a friend, a really nice friend, then there's no reason why a guy who actually loved me in a romantic way wouldn't do that. Like, why wouldn't he be like that? And a healthy guy would. A healthy guy would be like, yeah, you see what you like. But actually, this guy's even better because he's not saying, oh, he's not saying to me, would you like, he's not saying to me, like, so basically, he wants to share things with me. That's what I'm trying to say. There's guys who might say, oh, do you want to see this? As in, if you don't trust me, you can see it. And that's not how he is. It's like, oh, tonight I want to spend time showing you my screen. I want to spend time sharing this, that, and the other with you. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you everything he shared with me, but I can say obviously generic stuff like sports and music and things like he likes, just the wording like that, But I just think it's so amazing that a person's like that, because that's the type of qualities that I need in a guy, And often when we try to do dating or get into a relationship, we look for aesthetics rather than looking for qualities that we like as a person. And I haven't found the qualities in a romantic relationship with a guy that I want and need. Right? I need a guy who damn well knows what he wants. He knows it's me. That's it. He's not interested in other women. Doesn't matter who comes along. He's really not interested. And he's adamant about that. That's the type of guy I need. Right? For example, the 21-year-old, even though I have have whatever feelings for him, there absolutely no way I would ever have got that with him. So he's done me a favor really by being not a nice person to me. Um, and so, I could never ever trust him like that. I mean, I would always be thinking he would be off with other women, chatting them up on Instagram or whatever he's doing. Never trustworthy. So I need a guy who's totally trustworthy, who I can go clubbing with, and I know it doesn't matter what girl he comes in his way, I'll be like, I've got my girl, even through his body language, he would show it. Doesn't mean to say he has to be nasty to her. But sometimes in clubs you do have to say, like, I'm with someone, or just for your body language, like there's various things you can do. Like obviously if a woman's coming near you, it means she wants to dance with you. So then you turn your back on her, then she's like peed off, like, oh, clearly he's not interested in me, I'm going then. Even that type of thing, like if I don't want a guy to come over to me and he's trying to make eye contact with me, then I look down at the ground or look away, then he knows I'm not interested in him. Right? A guy has certain things he does, certain ways he looks to try to find out if a woman's interested in him. I've had this across the club. But the guy who did this to me, he was foreign looking, but he had a beard. I'm like, I'm really not attracted to guys with beards. I can't stand them. And I saw him looking at me. I'm thinking, I'm just not going to go there. I'm looking at the other way. And he was looking to see if I was interested in coming. So if I'd have looked over and I kept looking over and I was smiling, that would be a signal to like, you can come over and talk to me. Right. But I need a guy who's super strong and who knows it's just me he wants. And I'm 100% convinced he doesn't want any other woman. I have not met that guy yet at all in my life. I don't mean to say he's not going to have women that he gets on with or women friends, but it would have very strict boundaries with them that I know he'd be totally trustworthy. He would never go off with them in a relationship sense. And he would always be very adamant about that, and he'd mean it. And he'd always I really need a guy who kind of understands women to a certain extent, because a lot of asexual guys, particularly on the aromantic spectrum, they don't really understand when women find them attractive. I was having the conversation with my friend actually earlier, because a lot of people on the aromantic spectrum, they don't think like sexuals do or romantic people do. Like if I'm attracted to a guy, I want to talk to him in conversation and keep him talking. I want to spend time with him. I want to hang around him. Right. But if an aromantic person gets someone who wants to do those things, a lot of the time they'll just think this is a person that's really friendly. That's nice. They want to be my friend. That's not what actually the motive is in the person's mind, right? If it's a heterosexual person talking to someone, usually they want to have a relationship scenario, sexual scenario. Both usually. If it's a romantic asexual person like me, if I'm talking to a guy for a long period of time and I'm smiling and I have certain body language where I'm interested in him. So you've got to understand that sexuals and asexuals think very differently as well. But like all you can do is give yourself some love and time to heal. I don't think it's good to go from one relationship to another. I don't think it's good to, if you still got feelings for certain people, I think it's good to give yourself some time to get over that person. Otherwise, what happens is you end up with lots of unhealed pain and trauma and unhealed love situations. I just build up and build up until you've got really nothing left to give another person anyway. And there's no point in getting with someone if you still have feelings for someone else. You kind of need to clear all that crap out, clear the twat crap out, I say, and so it's not going to be easy necessarily, but we have to do all these things, don't we? And I'm just glad that I'm not even on Facebook dating anymore. Sometimes I get a twinge like, dating, you could meet a guy and go on a date. And then I'm like, yeah, ugh. I don't really want that now. I'd rather be doing other things because it's just wasting my time. I think, like if a guy really likes someone, he'll make it known. A strong guy will literally make it known, and he just will be there and, would always be there for me and would be reliable, honest, trustworthy, and it's good if if you're assessing a guy, for example, or any gender, always try and find out who their friends are to find out if they've got good friends or not. After a certain period of time, they should be introducing you to their friends and family anyway, after a certain period of time, if they really like you and care about you. But it's on Facebook dating, there was so many guys on there liked older women, but it's they just want to do it in secret. It's I ain't someone's secret. I'm not like a caged animal. I like to be free. People who want to keep you a secret is because they don't want other women to know that you're with them, because they still want to be available for other women. And clearly that's not the type of guy I want. I need a very strong guy, romantic guy, probably a guy who's got quite an old soul. So maybe like a guy who's 23, but he's got a much older soul. Like he's really mature for his age. And he's quite older in his outlook and what he wants, but still looks really young and likes doing young stuff. I think that would suit me because I'm kind of like really young soul and like doing young stuff and like living like a teenager on purpose and like that type of lifestyle. And I basically reprogrammed my mind to be like 21. So I don't give a toss about my birth certificate age or what people think. And I think, I need a guy very similar to me in that way. Yeah, but we'll always get twats coming in our lives because they always exist, and you can't have light without dark, unfortunately. So wherever you get good people, there'll always be dark people, and dark attracts light, and light attracts dark. And so when the law of attraction is, oh, you reflect what you are, I don't believe that's all the time. I don't believe like, if you attract someone who's nasty and horrible, I don't believe that that means you're nasty and horrible. I'm not saying it doesn't. Some people might be like that, but I'm saying, like light attracts dark and dark attracts light. So basically, someone who's like whole and pure and kind and caring, loving, giving, sharing, and really good is bound to attract people who are like, like used to darkness because they want to seek the light out. If they see a light in you that's not within themselves, they're like, my God, it's like a flame lighting their life up, especially if they're lonely people, if they're upset with their life, if they feel no one actually cares, but yet they see you and you do care. That's gonna be like igniting their life up in a way. But the thing is, the wrong people are not going to see that in a healthy way. They're just going to see it in a selfish way. They're not going to see, my God, I have a chance to actually be with this person, to have my flame ignited with them, and to ignite my flame with them, and to be intertwined in flames, be twin flames. They're just going to look at it as though, what can I get out of this? My life's so lonely. Let's have a bit of pleasure. Let's have a bit of light and grab onto it rather than actually be at the center of it and nurture it and grow it. It's really sad, but wherever there's good people in the world, there'll always be bad people, unfortunately. There'll always be light and there'll always be dark. So, you'll never ever stop attracting twats because it's just like the way life is. So you shouldn't beat yourself up if you do attract twats because, you're going to attract them at some point in your life. If you're fortunate enough to be in a relationship with someone who's really good, strong, stable, kind, caring, committed, loving, sharing, giving, put your best interests at heart, wants to work with you as a team, wants to have a beautiful relationship with you, then you struck gold. And then you don't need to worry about these twats. You just ignore them, get them out of your life, block them, move on. Just think they're idiots and be very grateful that you're in a serious committed relationship with someone who's not like that. Um, and I wish everyone to have a healthy, happy relationship. I think the people who are not healthy should actually learn what it means to be healthy, because a lot of the time in childhood they end up getting into patterns of unhealthiness and they don't even realize it. Like, attachment styles in childhood is not your fault, actually, but it's not your fault that you've got them. But if you don't do something about it and you know what it is and you learn about it, or you stay ignorant and you just like, oh, this person on YouTube was saying about attachment styles, but I won't bother looking that up because I don't want to know, but it sounds good. Yeah, okay. A lot of people don't put things into action. So what I would like you to do is go and Google attachment styles. And then it should come up with about 4 at least attachment styles. And then you can start reading about it thinking, what are attachment styles? Oh, I didn't realize that when I was a kid or a baby or whatever, I was attached like insecurely in some way to my caregiver. And therefore it's caused me to be insecurely attached in adulthood. And that means there's these traits that I have. And some of them might be not bad traits, some of them might be really bad traits, some of them might be okay, but basically you've got to work on the traits and try and change as many of the bad ones as possible. So, for example, if you're an avoidant person, you're not going to be healthy to be in a relationship with, because when someone wants to talk to you about how to solve problems within a relationship, you're just going to go quiet. You're going to disappear off social media, not answer their phone calls, not answer their texts, and just pretend something's not happening and bury your head in the sand. There is no way you can have a serious, long term, committed relationship that's healthy with anyone who's like this. You know, you have to be able to discuss difficult issues in any relationship, including friendship. You have to be able to say, when you said this, it made me feel this. When you did this, it made me feel that. You have to like be able to express when you're upset and in pain, because if you can't, things will just build up and it will destroy that friendship, even if it's not a relationship. A friendship is a type of relationship anyway, just not a romantic or intimate one like that, you know? Although some friendships can be intimate, that's up to them. But, you know, in general, I'm talking about like intimacy as in intimate relationship versus friendship. And so, you know, you've really got to understand that there's work to be done. Everyone has work to do on themselves. I've actually changed myself a lot. I have an anxious attachment style. That's not the best attachment style. Best attachment style is a secure attachment style. I have an anxious attachment style. Some of the traits for an anxious attachment style I have far less of, or I've got rid of some, and some I still have. Um, so yeah, it's not great. It's not the best. I'm aware of it. But when you're aware of it and you're working on it and trying to do something about it, then that's a good thing. But a person who's got an insecure attachment style, the best thing to do is to find someone with a secure attachment style. So, like I was giving the example of the avoidant personality type, someone who's avoidant is not going to be good for someone who's an anxious personality type. So, for me, if I'm anxious, I need reassurance. I need the person to communicate with me regularly, effectively, be there for me, know that I can trust them, that I can rely on them even if I don't hear from them for a little while, know that something's not my fault if I don't hear from them, or if they're saying stuff that they're not happy, know that it's not my fault and stuff like that. So an anxious person tends to worry about things a lot, tends to get stressed a lot, tends to like ruminate a lot, and tends to need reassurance that, you know, that they're fine, that things are okay. If I sense, for example, anything that's off, I can tell straight away, even if the other person doesn't tell me, because I'm very intuitive. And intuition and anxiety can be a very difficult combination, because if you intuitively know something's up with someone, and it's possibly to do with something you've done or doing or not doing, or just because they're not opening up to you, then, you know, you get anxious about it. I'm like, "Oh my god, I need to solve this now." It's not easy sometimes, because obviously the other person might not wanna open up. But, you know, you need to get into patterns of healthy habits where you both express your feelings in a healthy way. I mean, some obviously the worst part of it, I mean, I'm not like this, but some people who have an anxious attachment style, they can just blurt something out. It isn't good, because they're too anxious and their anxiety runs away with them. And so, um I've learned like healthy ways of communicating. So if I'm not happy with something, I'll say, you know, when you said this, it made me feel this, or, you know, that type of thing. So I don't blame the other person, but I'm saying it makes me feel this way, you know? And so this is how you have much healthier communication. But unfortunately, people who are twats often, they don't think there's anything wrong with them. They don't want to do the inner work that means facing their demons of their childhood and their past. They don't actually think consciously about themselves and their life. They're just going through the motions, not actually sitting down and spending time with themselves saying, "Look, where am I getting in my life? Like, what are my friendships? Have I got good friendships? Have I got people I can rely on, honest, kind, caring? What about a relationship? Like, what do I feel and think about that? Do I even know what I want?" You know, you need to sit down with yourself and ask yourself all these questions, right? But people who are twats will always be twats, unfortunately, and we have to just treat them like that, you know, like, "Oh, that's a twat again." But I just feel sorry for these people, because I know they could have such a better life. I know if they stopped behaving like twats and actually got some therapy and got some help to change their life and worked on themselves, and actually realize that the way they're going is no good. It's very selfish, and it's very possessive and manipulating and controlling. And they realize that actually it's not good to be like that, because you're never ever going to get someone fully loving you if you're trying to manipulate someone to love you, you know, and you're trying to control their emotions and what they say and do. You know, that's not healthy. If they just get therapy and say, "Look, I got this problem and I need to get it sorted out and I need to work on myself." If only they do that, and they could change their whole life around. They could end up with someone who really loves them, who really cares about them, who they can have a healthy, loving, caring, committed relationship with. They could work as a team with, who would, it'd just be so much better than living a life full of like fakeness, falseness, insecurity, breeding insecurity in others, breadcrumbing others. They could just lead such a better life. And I get very frustrated actually, because I'm thinking, do you not realize that you're just wasting your life away being these twats? Being twats, you're just literally wasting your life away. And you're going to just die having been like that all your life and wasted your life being a horrible person. Why? What is the frigging point? I don't understand people like that. I'm like, why would you want to die like that? Why would you want to die being a twat and have trapped people with like disdain, like disrespect and ignorance and rudeness and breadcrumbing them and treating them like a fish on a hook and baiting them all the time and playing mind games and playing with their heart and playing with emotions? Why would you want to be that type of person and die that type of person? Why would anyone want to be like that? But apparently there seems to be a lot of people in the world that want to be like that and that are happy being like that. And they don't think there's anything wrong with that. So yes, maybe all the twats should just be twats together and a twat group and treat each other like twats. And that would be great for them because they'd have the same mindset, the same treatment. They wouldn't give a shit about each other, excuse my language. They'd use each other, play with each other's emotions, play with each other's hearts, and they'd all think that's fine. So they'd all be thinking, ha, I'm so good, I'm in power, and I could be like a twat. And they'd all be twatting each other out, basically. Yeah, maybe that's what they just need to do. And we need to get a group for all the twats, shovel the twats in there. Have a nice twatish time. Happy Twatmas. And to leave me out of it because I don't want to know, I'm just wasting time, absolutely wasting time and life. Life is so precious. Why waste it being this type of person? I do not understand it at all. But then I haven't got the same mindset as them because I don't want to waste my life, Life is so precious. I want to live it to the max and for good causes and helping asexuals and raising awareness for asexuality and helping people with dating relationships with stuff like this, because it's not easy, especially having end up love feelings and like it's hard to get away from that, because like emotions are difficult sometimes to deal with, but you just have to remember you're much better on your own than being with a twat, and you're much better to just walk away, be on your own, or and eventually get a nice person for you, nicer, or even just be with friends is better. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insight. If you have, please pop a thumbs up on this video. Love to have you do that. Raise more awareness of asexuality and people being twats, People need to hear this video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode. Happy Asexual Awareness Week. In case you're new to this channel, you're new to asexuality. Asexuality is a sexual orientation that is the lack of sexual attraction. I love kissing personally, but I don't like sex. Anyway, lots of love to you. Take care. Nice to see you. Bye. Bye.